we need? We need volume, treble, or is it sufficient?
I can hear it, yes.
You can hear it? Okay. Welcome to Thorn at the Literary Cafe. First tonight is Amy Sparks. After that, of course, an intermission filled with more drinking and regular bar activities. And let's see, then Norma and Norma, inner city Cleveland's newest folk rock sensation, and then Theater of Sorts from Akron. And also we'll be showing during the evening videos by Jim Kleinfelter. So enjoy whatever you say in situations like this. Amy Sparks.
Okay, there's a small opportunity between when Robert arrives and when we're all too drunk. So I'm going to seize the opportunity. I went to Europe in June and I wrote kind of a long piece about it. It's called Histories. Prague. In a small rounded town bruised by time, the darkling spots emerge at sunset. You stand, shoulders slumped, thinking of a woman with points on her lips. History is a permanent coating on the tongue. Our fingernails scratch small white moons into the statues on the bridge where a king once threw a priest over the side. A cross with 5 gold stars marks it. We smother it with our hands, legend says, for wishing. Be done with the stones, the cobbled streets, the rain, sleep. The castle is lit until midnight, the swans until they die. They are placed in the water for distraction so that you will not notice how the city lifts and shifts by certain degrees toward the sun. Their arched necks are snakes, are the curve of your woman's breasts. They dot the river, their oily wings reflecting the stray human hopes from the bridge. Only their eyes are dark. Bring on the mist. Someone order the fog. There is at least a year until morning. It's all one. Madrid. The woman in gray swabs down the altar in a church in a country that is south and lemons, north and olives. This is more interesting than Mass and smells better. She pays no attention to the barbarous arms and thorns that hang in the air like coat racks, waiting for the tiny coats to hang before God. The slate, you said, has to be cleaned. But what if we broke it instead, leaving all the leavings on it, musty breathings, little mouths that croak echoes of former desires? It's good to leave the traces, the picked-through messes, the unordered archaeology of joining, rejoining, eating, drinking on different altars. History is not flat. It clots and dries and cannot be wiped clean. Tarragona is this beautiful medieval town just south of Barcelona on the coast. Tarragona. The whole time I am with you, a beetle waits for me in America. He has slipped through a crack in the sink to where the walls are white and steep. Like the bleached amphitheater here, there are no leavings descending from the sky. We all come from a Roman hole we can't return to. Feed us the tender lettuces browned at the edges like touched gardenias. We want only things that have been handled by someone else. Such is history. Cleveland. You know where that is. I awake to faces staring from the walls. A vast space with opaque windows. What city, country, day is here? Who inhabits the air? Disco thumps down the street, dogs and balloons and people who sleep with their own kind, coupling as if in a mirror. We chase the sun for a whole day and suffer for it. It cannot bear too many eyes moving west across a planet until west becomes east. We are not the British Empire. The bricks on my street are too new to speak. They have edges, live in America, are not yet fully soaked with blood. Arab sweat, West Virginia tears. The music moves my window slightly. The normally drab rug is drenched in color. The books tilt. The walls are high enough for church. The instruments are carefully covered in cloth, waiting. Vow over the Atlantic. I will get a dog, a cat, a bird, contact lenses, a haircut, dental floss. I will get healed before I leave again. My hands are clean, but in the dark, they tell stories. Paris. The most important aspect about the Eiffel Tower is that there's nowhere to pee nearby. Notre Dame is closed at night when it would be most beneficial to slip inside. Stand to drink your coffee and think of the dead. All the dogs in France are named Napoleon and all the cats Oscar. Or is it the other way around? Churches, you said, are crime centers and should be avoided. Sleep in the grass before important monuments. Malaga. Malaga is a southern Spanish town. We are south of where we want to be because you crave the sea and fruits that when split, spill the sun. The chatter rises from the alley at dawn, after siesta, during the promenade. The sound fills the air in increments, moving outward, hits the wall, shoots through the window, presses into the skin of your cheek. Lie and listen to a language you cannot speak. The stories are intricate and loud. They mean nothing. Your tongue is unmoved, but your ears are wound tight as metal coils. Amsterdam, where the whores give off no light. Berlin. In Berlin, memory mines the familiar. They sell chunks of history here, stones that when soaked in water blossom into blue soldiers with rifles. Soak them in blood and they remain stones. The Turks here sell Soviet scat, little pins of Lenin with which to pierce your chest. The wall is now circled in razor wire next to a bungee jump crane. Tourists wander Potsdamer Platz, negotiating their way through negative space. Dogs roam the gypsy camp above where Adolf and Eva made their pact against the sun. Question on the way from Prague. How many thieves were on the midnight train and do they think crucifixion? Back home. You have your fingers and the metal strings you pluck. I have words and an etching of a man who has no hands. I dream of men with hands, but will not admit to just dreaming of men. You have nothing because you keep starting over. But little things attach themselves to you, little mollusks each with fleshy centers, having absorbed what you said, what you heard, what your hands did when you weren't looking. Little histories and little shells, and you are covered with them. They break apart in the night when you are with the woman with points on her lips. Our cats watch from the outer dark. Barcelona. The brides in Barcelona have no faces, only exploded heads of bright red taffeta. The cathedral opposite absorbs all light. Our feet stink. The tiles are clean. 2 blocks away, Germans watch a transvestite dressed like Popeye sing The Yellow Submarine in Spanish. The police patrol, bathed in important blue. History drags behind us like a rivery veil. That's it for that one. I've been writing sonnets the past couple weeks. 1 sonnet per person in my life. And these are unrhyming sonnets, and they're not iambic pentameter. But they are 14 lines. The sonnet police are here. 8 lines and then a 6-line reversal. 1 for F. There's 4 of them. Your father said you are older than water. You were and good until you were 18, when the curve and fist of alphabet streets, sacrament of needles, are what you leaned your hip into and were declared no longer. Women were fish you couldn't clasp. Men took your mouth. Your arms surrendered. You kept your sutures, dear surgeon. But you are newer than blood from a heart beating harder to me. Bitter as copper, dark as a bite at night, singing wails, wind in certain leaves, pearl-handled knife unearthed in Ohio, meat falling without regret. Pluck out the stitches. Love your patient. This is 2 for D. Oh, I have to explain a word in here. The word's Hymenoptera. It means a class of, let me see if I remember, a class of insects that can transform their shape and work in colonies, like wasps and bees. No faint Dracula, you, no blood-loving century-monger succubus coming into my bad dreams and leaving neat holes. No, more like you, Hymenoptera, me, Tokyo, you, king, but not necessarily Kong, and me acting fey, but nowhere near the blonde. No myth-making big-screen legendary lust, just an arched eyebrow, a kiss, catgut. Let's use Marlboros for divination, your Telecaster to call the morning prayers, near cats and dogs gathered at the table, feasting, hands crabbed over buttons to play, me, you, F4 on the jukes box, a new spun story. That was the only funny one. Mr. Chancellor left. 3 for B. Now, if you recognize yourself in these poems, we can talk.
I recognize the last one was Dennis, wasn't it?
Give that man a beer.
Give me a life, please.
I'm going to give you a sonnet. Your medicated summa cum laude hands, your late-night bourbon and crossword puzzle hands smooth over me like those on a Ouija board, gliding to a suburban future where heat moves the mechanism, messages bloom too slow under bent heads, where me, you, yours, mine are one. But I am not your sovereign state, your very own personal topography. Protracted mystery board games don't play well here, where paint speaks, rust sings off-key a cappella, and altogether odd suns set in rehearsal.
Smith?
No.
Game show, Robert.
Yeah, it's not win or lose.
Offensive with venom, what?
4 for KNG. I just wrote this one today. It's bleeding time for your girl, but she won't follow no tarot spread. Instead, the thunder in your voice, blues sparking in the dark, hormones that never go ho-hum, but thrum up and shivering down as if she had tiny violins in her skin being sawed back and forth by bees. No labyrinth of men for this girl, no blue-eyed godhead, but good chaos. A single canoe stopping for no one's camp, the stars imploding without help from their planets, who stare dumbfounded by love's heat, the body's fine light. Maybe I should pay people to write sonnets about them. No, they should pay me.
Right.
They should pay me. That's right.
Now you take me. Can I have $1 for Amy? No, half the profit.
Don't you
Go to
spend it,
Amy.
Robert. You get it right over here.
Can I have $1 for Amy? Please. Get out of here, son.
Sit up. I'm not done yet.
I was just trying to help.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Brownsville, Texas. A woman wakes before dawn, hearing a coarse wind blow through her womb. The sun stuns the pavement. The river takes its trash, tail between legs, to the sea. Question: what desert is this? In Brownsville, Texas, babies are being born without brains. Say this 3 times fast, and the Rio Grande may sludge to a stop. It's an outbreak. Chemicals, industry, statistics, they say Mexico, mothers alarmed. They withhold such information as size, report, cruel cargo on board. Big as a small woman's fist, open as a full-blown rose, withered gardenias touched by unseen hands, half-eaten salad for the beetles. The sonograms show a single black hole anchored in a wet universe. There are no tides. The singularity at the center evaporates in the X-ray's eye. Nucleus, nucleus. It is a shell game. Question: what God do they serve? Irradiated, blessed, coerced, convinced, passed over, pressed, stitched, sliced, risen, picked clean, plucked. Small gray bowls overturned on the rocks. Report: someone wrapped razor wire around these vacant spots. Prediction: soon the rains will come and the bleaching begin. I wanted to read you one more that's kind of on a lighter note, and then my friend Mike's going to come up and do 1 or 2 love poems. This is called Metal. After kissing him, her mouth tasted like metal. She all of a sudden wanted to tell him her Joan of Arc fantasies. How her bones would sound like flint strikes inside a cave when she wore her armor. How she would lead her whole 6th grade class down to the sea to save Mrs. Metzger from being pregnant. How she would not break into a sweat or have to wear an undershirt over her bra to hide her breasts. She wouldn't have breasts at all, just God, working through her rib cage like a snake, whispering bells, bells in her ear. She licked her lips and kissed again. He tasted like a pipe. She would have short, straight hair and blue eyes and speak French to God and her soldiers. She would be excused from gym class. There would be banners and blue skies, and her parents would stand on the sidelines, proud. There would be wounds, of course, battle scars, cries of agony, but she was sure there would be nothing between her legs. God gave her the armor because he had different plans for her, a saint inside a girl's body. Arrested development, they would call it now. She wanted her development arrested. She wanted the taste of metal in her mouth, bits of it she could dig out later with her tongue. She wanted no blood, no wounds that followed the moon's tide. She wanted everything hard and flat and smooth like a boy, with good and evil clearly wearing their uniforms. She wanted to be smothered with metal and for the bells to never stop ringing. Thank you. Mike will be right up with his love poems. Don't take a huge break.